in the middle. Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's another Thursday live stream. Got a few things I'd like to go over today, but I hope you are all having a great day and looking forward to having a great weekend. Man, I have the worst headache of all time. I sat out. I was going to film something for tomorrow this morning because, I've been a little crunched on time. And I have a little yap dog. Well, I don't have it. My neighbor across the way does. It has just been off. I think they left and went out and did something and left the dog outside. If I had filmed, all you would have heard was the highest pitched yelping you have ever heard in your entire life throughout all of it. So I didn't get to film. We'll have to see what I can manage for tomorrow now because I can't use the amps at night. It's too loud with my kid asleep for recording purposes. But, c'est la vie. I apologize if I'm a little, ugh. Hey, Paul, how's it going? But obviously it's working because Paul responded. So I'll talk about the teles. We'll get this out of the way. The American Vintage 2 sold Friday night, Saturday night. I believe Saturday night it sold. Shipped that out on Monday. And the Custom Shop Telecaster, the Burgundy Mist double bound, fake aged, sold the other day. And that's it with the American Fender Telecaster experiment. Strangely enough, that one, the Troublemaker, that's my favorite a lot as far as the American made ones. So yeah, I finally ended what I said I was going to do here, and that was sell the PRS. That went first. Sell the Gibson Goddess. That went second. Sell the Fender Custom Shop Telecaster. That finally went. All because I really love the divisor guitars and the Japanese Fenders. I like them better. So I know some people will be like, you're nuts, you're crazy, I'd much rather have the more expensive stuff. Yeah, maybe. But to me, what I like, it's not even close. Hey Brian, how's it going? I know you got I've gotten you addicted to the Japanese guitars, and you're a regular customer of Kinko's music. And just so everybody knows, I don't get anything from that shop. I genuinely recommend them because they're a great shop, and Kaz is a great guy, and you'll get a great price buying from Japan if you buy directly from them. And it's a very easy process. So yeah, I definitely would advise anybody else to do that if they're looking for new ones. Biff and Robbo. Hey Robbo, you said you were going to email me and you never did. I know I'm really bad about responding to emails and stuff like that in a timely fashion. It used to let me do it on my phone, and now Outlook takes me back to my college email and then will not let me log in to my GoDaddy one. So I got to be actually in front of a computer to check any of that stuff. Apologize about that. And Greg, yeah. So you got a bomb with the guitar and expensive doesn't guarantee that. Absolutely not. No, it does not. Don't mean a damn thing. I'll tell you. Well, no, you can't see it. On the bench over there is the JV Strat. I've been starting to do overdubs and secondary lines on a few songs, and it's strange. I'm gonna make a full video about this and how I always come back to that guitar when I'm recording. I always come back to the Strat, which is funny. I'm telly guy, right? But I really dislike the Fender, I think they're the pure vintage 59 pickups that are in that guitar right now. And I like the Callahan bridge so much that I put onto the Takashi Kato. I have another pick guard that that's loaded, that has Fender pickups in it. I'm going to try and film a whole kind of thing. It's going to be long, but I'm going to try and bring this guitar up to the condition I believe it deserves to be in, and go from there and get recording with that. So that should be a lot of fun. And, we'll go over some of the JV history and some stuff like that. I've done a few videos briefly on that, but there's just so much wrong information and so many weird listings on Reverb selling people things that are not remotely close to being JVs. And it's just, I don't know. If I can inform one or two people, just like when I was talking about the Kinko stuff earlier, if I can help one or two people look at something and be like, that's not what they say it is, and save themselves potentially like thousands of dollars because JVs have gotten that expensive, yeah, I'd be happy to do it. But before I go on, I'll read up a little bit here Finally got suggested Mike and Mike Guitar Shop videos and recommendations, and all the recommendations on the side were your videos. That's really funny. The less said about them, the better. That's another place. I did email, but it must have gotten lost. I'll get back to you later. It will be great to chat again. Oh, yeah, that's weird, Rob, because I was actually, when you told me you were emailing, I was waiting for it because I knew I was slow to respond to you before, and I didn't see it. So, yeah, just go into your sent things and make sure it's going to the right thing, or just resend it. We'll be good. Gear View Mirror. Hey, everybody. How's it going? And Louisiana, Mr. Jack again. Now, somebody asked me to make a video about the troublemaker for tomorrow. I don't think I have time to do it. My car currently is on a donut, meaning it's on the emergency tire. Ran over a nail, and the tire. Luckily, I was able to change a tire myself. You'd be amazed how many people don't know how to change a tire or can't change a tire on their own. So I switched it out. I dropped it off at the shop this morning, and they're gonna call me. So if they call in the middle of the stream and you hear it and I say, I got to take this, it's because I got to say, okay, I'm going to come get the tire. And then I'll run out after we're done with the stream and pick it up. I won't end the stream because of it. And yeah, then I got to find some time to film the troublemaker video. Or if you guys have anything that you would like to see other than that, because I don't know, I don't want to half-ass videos like that, but I also kind of don't want to make as much gear like review stuff. As silly as that sounds. The Harley Benton was fun, but it's just such a cookie cutter process now, Like I take out the guitar, I make sure it's set up decent, I set the camera up on the bench, I do my standard little routine, I talk, I play, I talk more. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. It makes me feel like a salesperson when, I don't know, I guess it's part of the job. Not that this is really a job, but part of the gig when you do YouTube, it's smart to do stuff like that. And it's also smart to just, remind people to, if they're going to buy something anyways, just, it'd be nice if they use your affiliate links, stuff like that. I got to get better at that. And how many cars come without replacement tires? A lot. A lot of them don't have the spare or the donut or the emergency, depending on where you are in the world. They're called different things. But ours does. It's Japanese-made Mazda, so they took care of us. We know it's still gonna run. Nothing wrong with the engine or anything like that this time. Just needs a tire. And this is right after I replaced another tire about, 2 weeks ago. Luckily, this will be a lot less expensive because there's tread on this one. It's just got a nail in it, so they'll fill it up or they'll fix it one way or another. It'll be fun. But if you guys didn't miss the stream I did briefly, I didn't do it this week because it was Easter Sunday, but we are going to stream it on Sundays as well now, if you guys would like to join. And what we're going to do is, I'll show you the guitar we use because I know some people haven't seen it. It's I'm almost a Telecaster. And what we did was, and what we're going to do from here on out, it's not going to be anything about gear. I didn't talk much about this guitar. Somebody was asking about it, so I answered a few questions at the end. But we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about riffs. I'm going to do little instructional things. And if there's anything that you guys on the fly you have questions about, we can work it out together. Because I think that's a fun way to get everybody interacting. Get a guitar in your lap if it's possible for you at the time when you're watching. And I figure on the weekend is a decent time to do that. Provided you can have the allotted time and privacy to be able to engage and kind of jam along or something like that. It's something I've really wanted to do, and now that I've gotten a rig set up where we can do it, we're going to do it. So I haven't decided what we're going to be doing for a lesson for this week. It might be something more up Ian's alley with a little bit of a rock exercise that's really good for your pinky, but also really good for syncopation with your right hand and discipline with your picking. Other than maybe, or we could just do another funk thing. It's up to you guys. But point being, yeah, Sundays from now on will be a second day that we do a stream, and it will be just playing guitars. We'll have fun with that. I was taught to store my guitars in their cases. I know lots like to hang their guitars for display. Is there any potential problems with hanging a guitar over a period of time. You know, one thing that can happen is you can have the lacquer, if it's got a nitro finish on it, right here, can wear off on the stand, the actual thing that's holding it in, especially if it's on the wall, because it's more downward pressure. It's just gravity here. You don't have anything supporting the base of the instrument, so it's just going to be pulling on it. And you take it on, you take it off. The longer you do that, you could take some of the lacquer off of it. That's the biggest kind of potential problem with a Fender style guitar. With a Gibson style guitar, I've never had any problems doing it, and I've hung up ones that are very dear to me, like the American made Dove, which is also hanging on a wall right now, and never had any problems. But some people will swear it's really bad for the neck and things like that. But I mean, we're going on a decade here. I've got no problems. For maximum protection, the case is always the best way, for sure. But I don't know. I don't think there's too much to be afraid of. The main thing really is the lacquer coming off on the top of the neck, because that will happen. What time is that stream? That's going to depend. Either the same time as now, or maybe even an hour earlier, maybe 12. So 5 your time or 6 your time. Either one. Actually, no. 4 your time or 5 your time. You're only 5 hours, I believe. Okay. Depends on the hanger because of the nitro finish. Yeah, you'll keep all mine hanging, so no problems other than more dusting. Yeah, that's another thing that can happen too. But some people run like purifiers and stuff like that in their rooms to catch all those little dust particles anyways, which is funny because right before I started this stream, UPS came and I didn't order a music piece of gear. That's exactly what I ordered. I ordered one of the really nice air purifiers to try and make the air a little bit better in this house, one of the Honeywells. So we'll get that set up after the stream today. Get to breathing a little bit better, because this house, I swear, it's not got the best air quality in it. But it is what it is. So, but I like to ask you guys, I know this is big gear week for a lot of people, and I'm only really paying attention to NAMM for one piece of gear, and that is, like I've said on the last 4 live streams, I believe, an updated version of either the Aux box, the Boss Tubab expander, or the Iron Man 2, or if some other company comes in swinging a home run with something like that, so I can use these amps at night. Perfect example. It serves such a good purpose. For recording, it's amazing because I can blend it in, because I can have the signal coming out of either the aux or whatever it is going into the SPDIF, which is a type of connection into the Apollo, but then also use microphones along with side of it to mic up the amp. So if I don't love either one, or I can pick A or B, it makes life so much easier for that when I'm recording. And if I have to worry about sound levels in the house, for example, the Fusion came last Thursday at 9 o'clock at night. I wanted that demo out Friday. I waited all day for it. It came at 9 o'clock at night, and there was no way I could film it because I had no way of demoing the guitar. I could have filmed all the other stuff, but I mean, I would have been giving a review on a guitar I hadn't played yet, and I would have been talking out of my butt. I try not to do that. So it would be nice, and I'd probably be a little bit more productive for YouTube as well if I could also record at night. And I know many of you will say, well, why don't you just use plugins? I don't like them. I like my amps. I spent good money on these amps. I want to use these amps. They're great. Nothing against you if you like plugins, but for me, nah, I'm good. What's the best way to intonate a guitar? What kind of guitar? There's one general rule of thumb you want to do. When you're intonating the guitar, you want to be sitting with the guitar in your lap like this while you do it. You always want to be in a playing position when you intonate your guitar. It makes a big difference. And it also depends on the style of saddle that you're using too. How precise you can get. Like this guitar, It's got the Gotos. These are brass saddles, and I could get pretty close to perfect intonation with them, but they're not going to do as well as something like Callahan compensated brass saddles. So I try to just get as close to the ballpark as possible. Telecasters with 3 barrels typically are a little bit harder to get perfect. It's one of the reasons why Fender did, at a point, all of their guitars were coming with 6 saddle bridges, starting in the 1970s, I do believe. And yeah, it gives you individual control over each string's intonation, so you can get very accurate with that. And as far as the other things that I use when I'm intonating a guitar, I literally just have the guitar plugged into my pedal board and just leave the tuner on the entire time and just go from there. If a guitar is sharp, you adjust it. If the guitar is flat, pull back. I mean, it is what it is. That's just kind of other basic stuff. I think I've made videos talking about the specs of that. But maybe, you know what? I'll have a how-to. I'll have a real-time how to do that, because I'm going to put a new Callahan bridge on the JV Strat. So I'll go through that whole process. I'll make sure that it's not intonated. It won't be, because it's coming out of the box. But yeah, we'll do it with the Stratocaster in real time. I'll film that. That'll be part of it as well. Cool. But with a Les Paul, yeah, it's the same process as a Telecaster, or Strat, really, because you have the individual ones. You just want to make sure, this is very, very important, and this goes for not just your intonation screws, but anything that you want to change on the guitar. You can have a screwdriver that'll fit in it, right? But if the screwdriver goes in, let's see if it does it on this one. Okay, listen. Hear that noise? You hear that movement? This screwdriver would be the wrong screwdriver to use, and I would not use it to take off these pickup screws. You want the screwdriver, whatever you're using, to perfectly sit in flush with it, because you're going to prevent stripping or anything like that. And this is extra important when it comes to anything with your hardware, because the last thing you want to do is not be able to alter something, whether it's the bridge height or the intonation of the saddles. Tune your guitar up to whatever pitch you want to get it in. Make sure your strings are well stretched out so it's staying in tune, and then just slowly intonate from the top with a proper sized screwdriver, and you're all good to go for intonation with a Les Paul. There you go. Okay, I have 3 on the sofa next to me. I'm too lazy to reach for a stand. They're safe on a sofa. At least they're not falling too hard or too far. Hey there, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your recent videos about the Japanese guitars. As much as I prefer 5762 over the standard US ones, they are among my most favorite guitars. Yeah, I strung up the JV last night. There's another thing that happens over time. The guitar is over 40 years old. It was built in I actually looked, I forgot the date. I wanted to take a picture because I had the neck off, because I wanted to adjust the truss rod, and you have to do that on these older guitars. That guitar has a neck stamp July 22nd. This is never going to show, but July 22nd of 1982. So over time, things can happen, and one thing that's happening with that guitar, for one reason or another, the E string, it's perfect at the nut as far as the distance, but as it goes further down the neck, it gets closer to the edge of the neck. So the Callahan bridge that I'm putting on is actually sized 2 1/16 at the actual saddle part of the bridge, and the traditional 2 what's the other, 2/32, I believe. I think I'm off here, but anyways, I have it's a little bit tighter string spacing to compensate for that, but it's still going to fit into the vintage slot. So I'm really excited about that. So the playability of that guitar is going to go up as well. And then, the new pickups and stuff like that, and we'll go from there. Cool stuff. No, but I love Fender Japan, man. I love Fender Japan. If it was up to me, I would have one of each of the JVs. Some are very hard to find. I'd have a Paisley JV. I'd have a 62 and Stratocaster. TL62B bound Telecaster. Those are impossible. If you don't want sunbursts, they're impossible. Or yeah, I don't need a maple neck, a Strat. So yeah, 52. TL5295, which was the highest tier of the 52 reissues, the original JVs. I love them. Love them to death. How do acoustics get away with intonation with the most low-tech saddle ever? From the factory. That's why it's so important to have the nut cut right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And and the other thing you got to consider is a lot of people that are playing acoustic guitar, especially the older ones that might have some of the more traditional, old school appointments to them. People aren't really going to be playing past like the 9th fret almost ever. So if it's a little bit off, not going to be the end of the world to them because they're not going to be living in that area of the guitar anyways. Okay, take it to a professional, but probably need fret and network along with setting intonation. Unless you're very comfortable with those things, pay a professional. For intonating your guitar, you don't need to pay somebody to intonate your guitar. As long as you do have a proper sized screwdriver. This genuinely, I'm saying this again, it's that important. You don't want to strip the screws. If you have the right screwdriver and the tools to do it, it's very easy. It's very easy to do that. Now, if you want to talk about the other details of a setup or creature comforts or things like that, you want your frets taken care of, or you have a high fret, or you have unlevel frets, or you have fret sprout, or you have all these other things that are going on, then sure. If you're not comfortable with that, you don't have files, you don't want to mess up a precious guitar to you, then it's worth it at that point. If it needs all that stuff, bring it into a pro. But something just like intonating your guitar, you can do that at home. Don't stress it. Hello from Pittsburgh. Hello, Mr. PRS, Mr. Lee. Oh, man. Oh, no. I do know how critical it is recording. This is a funny thing about this. Perfect example. You guys actually on this song, I think I filmed it and I think I posted the original tracking session of this very early onto this YouTube channel. I was talking about, I should do an updated version of this. I was talking about being the bass guitarist when you're a guitar player and you don't technically have a bass guitarist in your recording. I took in a Fender Mustang bass into the recording studio that I neglected for a long time. And my wife was just learning how to play the bass. So, I mean, she was the one mainly taking care of it, and I was playing the guitars. I brought it into the recording studio, and it was perfect until I got to the 8th fret. And I'm like, this is bad. Intonation's terrible. And rather than sit there and try and deal with the intonation at the time, I ended up, instead of using that, I think I used an $80 Squier bass that made it onto the final tracking for like 7 songs because it was well intonated. Granted, the strings were not a gauge I was, used to or anything like that. And whatever, it is absolutely crucial. And I don't think it sounded anywhere near as good as the Mustang could have, but it didn't matter how good the Mustang could have sounded because it wasn't properly freaking intonated. So I used the Squier P bass. And that was that. Got the job done. It's critical to be properly intonated. Critical. Okay. What Japanese seller has a good made in Japan Charvel section? You can try Kibei Music. You can also try Kurosawa Gaki. Although it's sticky with Charvel because technically it's a Fender brand and a lot of those won't sell you those new. Some of these shops they will not budge on that, but you might be surprised. Those are the 2 places I would recommend. Ikebe, Ikebe, Gaki, and Kurosawa Gaki. I'm not spelling that's too long. It sounds just like it sounds. It spells just like it sounds. I hate restringing with vintage tuners. Tempted to change them on my American original. Is there an easy way to keep the strings from continuing to pop out while tightening force. That's it. With the JV has vintage tuners on it. I restrung it last night. You just have to have enough pull on the string with your left hand or whatever hand you want to hold the string into place with, and get a peg winder. Huh. I always have my little props right next to me, even when I don't know I'm going to be using them for a video. Uh, and when you have the tension right and you're making sure it's good, once it catches, you're all good. That's the easiest way of going about it. Yeah, it's not as easy as, pushing it through a locking tuner, locking the pinwheel on the back, or tuning it, because some of the tuners, like the Goto vintage locking styles, those you just have to keep turning and eventually it will click and it'll catch, and then you clip off the excess afterwards. Yeah, it might be easier to do that stuff, and I see the merit in it, but to me, if it comes with it, a locking tuner set, that's great. Not going to complain. But if it comes with a vintage one, I'm also just going to deal with it, only because I do it all the time. So it just doesn't bother me that much, but I could definitely see why it would annoy you. One ST62 I ordered from Japan was actually an ST62M. Those are cool, but they feel different. They feel really different. If you tune that to a half step down, E flat, like you traditionally would with a Strat, like most people would, I do this, on a medium scale neck, it's going to feel like a Jag. It's going to feel very slinky, but that's pretty cool. Bad nut, not even frets. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm anal, and it's funny because for somebody as anal as I am about these little things, when it comes to making sure everything is set up right, and making videos explaining to people how to do it. I did make a video about 2 weeks ago explaining how to actually get your guitar properly set up, and what to look for and what to make sure is all good if you're going to actually record your instrument. Yeah, I didn't do it with the bass. Foolish error. But it got done. At least it got done. All right. I recently bought a mint condition E series from around '84. Still at the plastic on the pick guard. Best guitar I've ever played. Yeah, a lot of those '84 through '87 E serials are exceptional instruments. Ron Thorne, the head of the Fender Custom Shop, that's his favorite guitar of all time. He owns one of those. Guy could play anything in the world, and his favorite guitar is an E series or an E serial Japanese Fender. Food for thought. If it's good enough for him, I think it's good enough for everybody else. Stevie Ray Vaughan did a lot of the promo work too for the SQ line of those, which were Fender Japan, but that's when they were transitioning to the Squire logo because they didn't want people confused with Fender USA and Fender Japan. And yeah, it sounded awesome. They still do. Hi, Jim. When you craft a solo on electric, do you build it up incorporating triad notes? Do you use scales, or do you combine modes, or all of the above? That really depends on the song. My number one thing when I'm doing any of this, forget any of the specifics of what you're saying. I'll use each in their own way depending on the song to make it a little bit different so it's not as vanilla. But I'm trying to speak and add or to contrast to what the vocal has done melodically. Because I'm not a shredder. Like, I don't know. I've never found that very appealing. So when I'm doing that, what I'll do is I'll pick out and I'll identify the notes of whether it's the chorus or, sometimes you can have a powerful part of a song, like a bridge that leads into the solo or something like that, right? And I'll pick out all those notes and I'll know where they are, and I know where they are in relation to the key that we're playing in. And what I'll do from there is I won't do it note for note, but maybe you start with the first 3 notes to make it sound like you're going to mimic exactly what the vocal just did. And then instead of playing the next note in line, I'll do something different. Maybe I'll play the third. Or maybe I will go into a different mode at that point, depending on what chord is the bass chord that's playing behind it. You could get so creative with all that stuff. So the answer to your question is Yeah, it's a song by song thing. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way, but my overall kind of approach to doing that is really to work with the vocal and not make it about the guitar. I'm using the guitar as a vessel to complement the vocal and to make it say something that the vocal might not necessarily be able to say or phrase in the same way. Yeah, might sound kind of lame, but that's how I look at it. Okay. I prefer vintage tuners. Using higher string gauge helps. That's absolutely true. Higher string gauge will help. So you don't push the strings down the tuner hole? Well, yeah, no. I wish I had. Maybe I do. Give me a second. I should hang this up. Hold on. We're going to the parts bin. I'm sick. I'm sick in the head. Look at this. All right, let me open these up. So, right here, got a vintage tuner. So many parts. And I got a string. This is an extra. I'm not going to need it. All right. So, what I'll do is, I always use my right hand to do this. I push it in as far as it's going to go. Okay. I then bend down hard. And then I pull. And I'm holding it like this the whole time. Just like this with my right hand. Obviously, my left hand wouldn't have to be doing anything because it's already mounted into the neck, the headstock of the guitar. I use my left hand to use the peg winder. And I just hold it taut, hold it tight, just like this. No problems. And now this string is really never going to be used. So I just wasted maybe $1. But there's no better way for me to explain it than to show you. Okay. Love my PRS, but I bet you wouldn't guess what my second favorite, the Billy Corgan. Just played and loves the guitar. That's awesome. I love when people just don't even know about the artist and they just find a guitar and they like it that way. I think it works out better than if you know the artist and you buy a guitar because you like the artist. That seems dangerous, more dangerous. I'm using 9.5s, maybe move to 10s. Maybe just make sure your nut is cut for giving enough slack. Make sure you're not having any pinging when you're tuning your guitar. If you're using a gauge of string and you hear any sort of pinging whatsoever, your nut's not big enough. Your slot's not big enough for that string. That's causing binding. Your string is actually binding into it. You can use graphite from a pencil or Vaseline or chapstick or preferably Big Ben's nut sauce, something like that that's actually made for guitar. And you can mitigate that as like a Band-Aid. But the real way to fix that and also to provide stability is you have the nut filed correctly for the gauge of string you're using. Very important. Even more important if your guitar has a vibrato on it. If it's a hardtail, it's still important, but way more important if it has a vibrato. Try it next time, restring other guitars. Good luck. Okay, that happened to me. All right, we're all on a tech talk here. Oh my God. Huge thank you. That's the one guitar I dread put off changing strings on. Well, don't dread it. And that's a great guitar. You should be happy you have a guitar that cool, man. That's a great guitar. I like it. I had one of those necks in on a parts caster for a while. Very nice. Very nice neck. I like that neck a lot. A little big for some people, but I do like it. Okay, so Jim, I ended up selling the Sonic Blue. Your first sale, keeping the Ice Blue. Both excellent, but I prefer the Modern Radius. Plus, the new one pops more. Of course it pops more. It's got block inlays on it. Block inlays and a matching ice blue metallic headstock. That's pretty cool. Curious what your first guitar sale was. I actually know the answer to this. The first guitar I ever sold was a Gibson. I had a green, like a deep, deep, deep forest green. Maybe it was a 1996 or a 1997 Les Paul that had dot inlays on it. And I was so silly to think about nowadays. I was in a band. Well, initially I was helping a band out that needed a guitar player, and it was not music I liked, but I liked the guys in the band. I was in high school, and it was very aggressive, hard, screaming music. And after I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Like, I love you guys, but this isn't a fit. I didn't really have much of a thing for that guitar. I went right back to the JV. I didn't have that very long. That guitar I sold to a friend who was just learning guitar, who nowadays is an incredibly good technical player. Incredibly good. Miles beyond me as far as the crazy sweeping and legato and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, dude, you really stuck with it. Good for you. I sold it to him for $400. I think I let him pay me $100 up front, and I don't think he was ever going to pay me back. And one day I drove to his house. I was poor. I was like, can I please have the rest of the money now? And I got the rest of the money. But that was it. It was a late 90s Gibson Les Paul Studio with dots. I know it actually had a specific name to it, but I can't remember what it was. It wasn't one of the gems, because those had P90s. I don't know. It escapes me, but hope that answers your question. I actually prefer the vintage tuners on Fenders. I hate locking tuners. I don't hate either. I just make whatever I have work. So long as they have a good ratio to them, I'm fine with either one. You like metal, Jim? Not that much. No, not that much. Some of it I can get into some of it. If there's not screaming, if I can understand what the person is saying, even if it's in Japanese, if I can just like hear like words and it's singing and not like, I'm not going to do it, but you know what I mean. Like somebody just sounds like they're having a bad issue, screaming. I can't do that stuff. If it's melodic, on top of that, like I've heard some great technical visual kai players, which is a genre in Japan where it's like, it's definitely neoclassical as far as the inspiration, very Ingwe-esque, but almost like gothic in a way, with like a lot of those old school organs, but the guitars are freaking awesome, and they all dress up. It's wild, dude. I would love to go one of those shows in person. I think I'd have a lot of fun. People like, I can think of two off the top of my head that are incredible. They both played in the same band for a while. Hizaki and Teru. They played in a band called Versailles. I could listen to them. I could listen to that band, that music all day. As a matter of fact, if I was on a desert island and I had to make a playlist with 20 songs on it, one song would be from that band. That's how much I like that song. Yeah. So I don't hate all metal music. I think some of it's pretty cool. Just got to be right up my alley a little bit. Hello. Oh God, I see. Hello, I have a problem. Hello, I have a problem with my Squier Classic 570. The E drop as soon as I tune it. D flat, even D. Replace the same E and same problem. Maybe these issues changed from 10 to 9. That could be it. Also, make sure you stretch the strings really well, man. Whenever you put on new strings, I'll show you another thing real quick. So the JV, I just did this last night, but I can do it a little bit more. It's not going to hurt. Once you get these tuned to pitch, right? Put the guitar on your lap. Or you don't need to, but I typically do put it on my lap just for the sake of the camera and for YouTube. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it up here. You want to put pressure down and you want to pull, like really pull. So to give you, like I'm pulling, and just go up and down the neck a bunch of times. I do it probably 3 total goes, like this. Okay? After I'm done with that, Yeah, that's E flat. I tune it back up to pitch. I do that with every single string on a new set of strings. I play it for a few minutes, then I re-stretch them again, and tuning stability helps out a lot with that. You could also have just gotten a dead string. That's happened. That's not out of the ordinary. Happens to the best of them. See, we got a little like workshop class going on here. Okay. Was hoping for a good story. Yeah, it's a funny story. Hey Rex. No, thank you for sending me that. I really do. I love it. It's great, and it really does. I was talking on a Discord today about this, and it drives me nuts about YouTube. It drives me freaking nuts. These people can talk about politics, and they can link like entire news clips that aren't theirs. They don't own those. And they can say whatever they want, and they'll be able to make a boatload of money doing it. But if I play 10 seconds of a song, finito, I get nothing. Nothing. They have it so easy, these hacks. They have it so easy. My point is, I would love to have played both your record and the homegrown records. I wish everybody could hear music like this. Because there's no way, unless you're in San Diego, there ain't no way that you had ever heard of homegrown, those KGB radio compilations. But they're incredible. And it's got the same vibe as your music. It's just a band that just sounds tight, and the production is not too over the top. It's just great. The songs are good songs. No filler. You made a great record. You did a good job. And I'll be picking a winner for somebody to, I'm going to buy it from your website and then have it shipped to somebody else for one of the vinyls. And we'll go from there. So we'll let somebody else also enjoy your music. That'll be fun. No, it was awesome. Thanks for your answer. Love these general topic streams. Do you have a specific guitars for live gigs? Have you ever played acoustic lives? I played the Dove live a bunch. I'm a nutcase. When I had my True Love Telecaster, which is the double bound black Fender Custom Shop that was not destroyed from the factory. God, that's the only guitar I wish I didn't sell. Like, really wish I didn't sell. Anyway, I had no problem playing that one out. Hell, I played that at our pre-wedding party. I played that outdoors. I didn't care. I looked at it like, at the time, I was like, I have great guitars. And I would gig the 62 reissue Stratocaster I had, the early Corona, 1988. I gig all those guitars because I'm like, these are guitars that I love to play. They get the best out of me performance-wise. It's great. But right now, the gigging guitars are very simple, actually. It's a 77. And it'll be a Takashi Kato. That's it. Strat in a 335. Because I need the vibrato. I know you're probably saying, why aren't you using a Telecaster? I want a vibrato on at least one guitar. And I'm not putting a Bigsby on a 335. It's not happening. Not a fan. What do you think of the Fender JV Modifieds? Just got the 61s. I like the JV Modifieds. I do like them. They're just not JV. They're nothing like JVs. I wish they would have called them anything else. Just in the spirit of, if you're gonna, I'll never understand why Fender does this. But they'll name something after a series, and then it will have specs that are nothing like the original series. International Colors was the same thing. The guitars could not be further apart outside of the colors. But I will say, if you're not judging it compared to an old JV, the necks on those are amazing. The JV Modifieds. I really like those. They feel great. The fretwork is top notch. It's par for the course with Fender Japan for me. I really like those guitars. And they're criminally underpriced and criminally underpurchased in this country. Even though I think that you can only get them in one color per model. So if you wanted a Tele with a maple neck, you have to get the white with the gold. Or if you wanted a double bound one, you're getting a Fire Mist Gold. And I know with the Strat, you're either 3-tone sunburst or white for HSS, I believe. But they're great guitars. They're really nice. Congratulations. Love you answered. Okay, cool. So good Japanese dream pop or shoegaze. I don't really listen to shoegaze. I had something pop up on my recommended the other day. I think you might like though. Sometimes I'll listen to playlists of Japanese kind of city pop because I actually think it's pretty cool, and it's good music for me to listen to and put on in the background, and just like totally not zone out, but like be like, oh, this is really good, and just have a good time. Okay, is this the song? Oh yeah, you'll like this then. I think you will. Uta Tabi. Uta Tabi. I think this was released this year. But that popped up. It's a female singer, and it's really really cool. It's got some pop to it, but there's definitely a little bit of ambience and kind of like cool guitar effects going on. And then right up my alley. It's like YouTube, this algorithm knows me too well. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool. And then one of the songs it comes in with like this amazing clean but pushed neck pickup with compression of a Strat, and it's playing this awesome riff, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And YouTube's like, see, we knew what you liked. We stalk you. Our microphones are on. We hear what you play through your amps when you're not recording. It all scares me. But yeah, shoegaze and stuff like that. It's not my number one genre. But yeah, Utatabi. Give them a shot. Yeah, cool. You play your hummingbird out every gig, your main acoustic. I have at least 15 or more gigs a month booked through the year. That's awesome. Congratulations, Greg. And you seem to share the same kind of sentiment I do. If you have something great, just play it. And what I do is if it's a guitar that's really dear to me, I'll just make sure it doesn't leave my side afterwards, depending on the bar. It'll sit on my back, or I'll just carry it. I don't care. Whatever. I'm not there to drink anymore anyways. So it's very easy for me to just keep an eye on my stuff. But I don't know, you can't always do that, and certain gigs and certain venues, it's a pain in the ass to do that. We'll include a copy of the CD for the winner along with the name. Oh no, I'm buying them the vinyl. Rex, you're not giving anybody anything. Stop it. I'm taking care of it. I'm gonna buy it for somebody else. Okay? You don't got to do anything. We appreciate it, and I'm sure whoever's gonna get it would appreciate it. But I'm paying for it. All right, it's on my bill here. I got it. Mellow Waves by Cornelius Point and Censorus are some great albums by them. They don't sound very Japanese, but I'm sure it's good. You're in Branson, Missouri. Lots of gigs in a vacation music town. Ha! There you go. See, we have Naples here. And our busy season for that stuff is actually ending. Because all the snowbirds come from the Northeast for the winter to get out of the snow. And then in the summer, it's kind of like it slows down a little bit. But there's still gigs. There's still outdoor gigs. The only problem is the severe heat and humidity. This is a place where there are guitars I don't want to play outside. And that might be even potentially the Kato, in which case we'll bring the Momose, the Telecaster. Because that's got the same finish as an American vintage. That's gonna live just fine. It's not a thin skin. It's got a base coat. The Takashi Kato does not. I know you're always on about the Japanese Jaguars. I told you to email me. I'll find you one. I actually saw one. I saw a Momose pop up for sale. Lake Placid blue with a matching headstock. About a week ago. So shoot me an email. I'm slow to respond. But, yeah, like I said, if I just got to get the app working on my phone. because I believe it or not, I don't actually just sit in front of the computer. I wish I did. Are there many places that metal bands play in your area of Florida? About an hour north, you can't avoid them. They're everywhere in Tampa. Lots of that stuff. But in Fort Myers, there's a few places that book metal more towards the actual city area, about 10 minutes north. Yeah. It's out there. It's popular. It's funny. There's one venue that hosts, you'll be able to find like an Avenged Sevenfold style band one night, and the next night it'll be like country line dance, and then the next night will be reggaeton, Latin music. So they don't give a damn. As long as you can put people in the venue, you're gonna play there. It's not known for any one specific thing, and I kind of like that about them. I've even carried out my master built Vincent Van Trite 62 Jazz Master Dream Guitar. I buy things to play them. That's part of the reason I got rid of the PRS. The main reason was I didn't love that guitar, but I hated the fact that I looked at that guitar as something that needed to be protected. And the only reason the 77 is in there is because that's a very nice display case. And it would look stupid empty. It would. And I'm not taking it down because he professionally installed it. So, yeah, the 77 goes in there. But now I'm not scared of playing any of these guitars. I'll play them all. Whatever. But for whatever reason, that core PRS. I think part of it is because people that play PRS guitars, if you ever decide to sell a PRS guitar, if it's not mint condition, they want it for like half price. And they'll point out every single tiny blemish and scratch. Be like, this isn't perfect. That's not perfect. That's not collector grade. I get a wood library for this. Huh? What are you going to do for me? I'll give you $1,000 for your McCarty. What? It's got like two pickups, two pick scratches on it, and a few paint swirls. Yeah, it's worth nothing now. It's worth nothing. Don't you take care of your Paul Reed Smith guitar? No, I played it. Sorry. It's got to go. Bye. You're taking the Rain Song road trip to Monument Valley, Utah Parks. That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun, man. You know, I saw one of those pop up for sale, and I wasn't sure if it was you selling it or not, Rex. I'm happy it wasn't, but it looked just like yours. Not very often I see carbon fiber guitars. So when I did, and then I saw Rain Song on top of it, I was just like, oh man, I had no idea what that was until Rex told me. And also, Rex, I would like to work on a track with you. Even if it's not with John, you want to work on something, let me know. The first guitar that came in on your record, I was just like, oh yeah. It's right up my alley. And I love songs that start with, I love an album start with people riding on toms instead of cymbals. It's very emblematic of what you can expect from a record. More often than not. I love that. Somebody riding the floor tom. Cool, as long as you bring the crowd. Exactly. That's why I bought a PRS core with a few dings. Got it for less than half so I could play it as much as I want to see, but that's what I'm talking about. I was an idiot. I bought it new because it was freaking purple and awesome. And the exact model I wanted. And there were no used ones. And also at the time, I didn't realize that purple, if I didn't have it behind a freaking glass or whatever, that purple was going to go. It was going to turn into the desert sand. I saw what happened to some of these purple finishes. It's atrocious for $4,000. Now they're $5,000 guitars. You have to worry about it that much. Oh, screw that. If I was ever going to do another PRS core, it'd have to be, what is it? Blood orange? I would do blood orange. Because I wouldn't care at that point. I'd buy it used with some dings in it, and I'd buy a blood orange one. Whatever. I don't have to worry about the color going. I don't have to worry about somebody, That guitar was not stored in an ideal humidity climate controlled room with 5 ofrendas in front of it. It's worth nothing. PRS people are like that. It's really funny. Do people who actually play not collect it? Dude, yeah. Dude, I couldn't believe it myself. Marco, I could not believe it myself. I thought it was all exaggeration until I went to sell it. It was hilarious. And some people would send me like essays about it, like breaking down everything from the pictures. I'm like, dude, it's a guitar. I played it. I'm really sorry, but like, this is the price I have it for. Like, just because you itemized every flaw you found in high definition, like, that doesn't mean I'm going to sell it to you for what you think it's worth now. Like, what? I've only ever had that with Paul Reed Smith. Every other brand of guitar I've ever bought and sold, no scrutiny at all. I mean, you'll get people that ask, if I don't put it in the listing, how much does it weigh? Or can you give me the neck thickness of the 1st and the 12th fret? That stuff's normal. But dude, I mean, it's hardcore. It's hardcore. They're serious about this stuff. I don't know. I feel very blessed and lucky to make a living doing what I love, as you should. You should be blessed, lucky. You're fortunate. We're all fortunate to have you here. I'm fortunate that you're interacting with this and having fun. But anytime you could do something that you love and make a few dollars doing it, even better, make a living doing it so you don't have to have a main gig, you're winning. You've won at that point, you know? And that's what everybody strives to find. You know, right now I'm making things work, but it's not exactly what I want to do. So change is all around. Tweaks, rather. Tweaks. But that's neither here nor there for today. But that's why I bought a satin black SE Standard. It was the least pretty guitar they made. I wanted to play it, not kiss it. There you go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And that's why sometimes I don't mind if a guitar has a poly finish on it. I don't mind. It's like, whatever. And I don't even care if a guitar is like that thing. If I know a guitar is damaged or dinged up or scratched, and as long as I could see it in the pictures before I get it, it doesn't bother me one bit. As long as the important bits are okay. Cool. I'll take it for $500 though. I noticed on the nut side, the treble side of the nut, there's a strange indentation. You're going to have to go to a licensed luthier here, and that's going to run me $200. And my gas money to get there, I swear to God, one guy actually went into detail. It wasn't about the nut, but it was about something else. He itemized the fact that he was going to have to drive an hour, and then he said both ways. He factored in his gas, and that was why he wanted this much off of the PRS. Hand to God. That alone makes me never want to buy another one. God bless you guys. Thanks, man. Good to be here and good to hang out. Well, you know, I just love talking about guitars. We haven't talked about NAMM. I'm just going to change the title. I didn't really want to talk about NAMM anyways. I told you what I'm looking for. Yeah, new companies came, or old companies released new things, or old things in new colors, and whatever. Great. Universal Audio made more plugins in the pedals. Hooray. Like, JHS did something cool. I mean, I can't get excited over this crap anymore. It takes a lot. I don't care about dinging up PRSs or modding them. I care about how they feel and play. That's it. Well, my favorite PRS, if I was ever going to get another PRS, like I said, how I would do it, and I have nothing against PRS guitars. I just, that selling experience was murder. It would be in an orange. I really like that blood orange. I really, really like that. Or maybe like a core Bonnie pink would be cool. Oh, hold on. That's my car. Guys, I gotta go. I gotta take this. I'm only ending it now because it is 1. Sorry to rush up out of here. But no, I'm not against PRS. I'm not against PRS. Blood orange or Bonnie pink core. You find me one that's beat up used, I'm buying it. I'll take it easy, guys.